Hello BookTube, welcome back to my 2024 library tour. This is the 7th part of my science fiction and fantasy collection, all about Tanith. But before we get to Tanith Lee, I'm going to start with Jay Lake. Jay Lake was a science fiction and fantasy writer who I first discovered in the late 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s in two anthologies that I'll get to in a few more episodes. The New Weird and Steampunk anthologies edited by the Vandermeers. I, at the time, enjoyed his stories in both of those anthologies, and I, for a long time, wanted to pick up some work by him. And eventually, I did pick up a short story collection and a novel. The short story collection is The Sky That Raps. And it includes quite a number of short stories. Although it does not include at least one of the ones in the anthology. But I have not actually gotten around to this one yet, nor to the novel. Trial of Flowers, which is part of the City Imperishable series, which I think there's at least one other. Moving on to an anthology. This is The People's Future of the United States, edited by Victor Laval and John Joseph Adams. So this is an anthology that plays off of Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States. And so the collection includes a number of short stories that look at the near future of the United States from a politically left-wing perspective, as A People's History of the United States is a more left-wing history. I have tried this anthology a few times, and I have not gotten on with it at all. I think the only reason why it remains in my collection so far is because I think the anthologies are some of the books that I would want to keep, but not this one. So at my next purging, it's gone. Next up is Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. This is the first book in the Broken Empire series. Mark Lawrence is a writer of fantasy specializing in grimdark. And this book is very grimdark, what I read of it. I tried a chapter of it last year and did not get on with it. It was way too brutal for my taste. It's about a psychopathic young man who takes control of a band of marauders to further his political ambitions. Before we get to Tanith Lee, I do have to get to Ursula K. Le Guin. First up is The Dispossessed. This is a novel that I read about 20 years ago for a class, and I didn't get on with it. It's part of the I'm blanking on the Hainish cycle. It's about two populated worlds, Urus and Anares. The people of Anares are refugees from Urus, and they basically set up a anarchistic utopia on Anares, while Urus is more politically mixed, with one of the nation states on Urus being capitalistic. There's another one that's more communistic, and it's about scientists on Anares trying to work out how to communicate faster than light. And I didn't like it. So not so so I don't quite know why I bought that copy, except for a sense that I really should have it. I also have a omnibus of 5 novels of Le Guin: The Left Hand of Darkness, Rokenna's World, Planet of Exile, City of Illusions, and The Word for World is Forest, which is the so of the 5, I've read The Word for World is Forest, and it was okay. And I didn't get on with The Left Hand of Darkness, although I will maybe give it a Bill Redemption shot in July if I still want to do Rocket Summer or Rocket July or whatever it's called. So far, the booktube events that I'm participating in this month are not going all that great. So I don't know if I want to try my luck again next month. Anyway, now the Tanith Lee portion of the video. So Tanith Lee was a mid-list science fiction and fantasy writer whose career spanned from the 70s through to the 2010s when she died. Her sales were solid, and I think she had a solid fan base, but towards the tragedy of her career is that towards the end of her life, she was finding it increasingly difficult to find a publisher because her work wasn't quite in vogue, I think. Although at the time of her death, and I think for a few years following, Del Rey put out reissues of a number of her earlier works. Tanith Lee's oeuvre spanned from science fiction through sword and sorcery, epic fantasy, and all genres in between. I have quite the collection, although many of these works I have not yet gotten around to. And given how things are going with me in science fiction and fantasy, I might never get around to them. So first up is A Heroine of the World, which I've never gotten around to. I have read the next book, Faces Underwater, which is the first book in the Secret Books of Venus. I bought this book well over 20 years ago and read it, and I think it was okay. It's about a city called Venus, which is basically Venice, just more fantastical, and renamed Venus, as in the Roman goddess. And it's about a student who's trying to stop his mentor from causing some kind of catastrophe, if I remember correctly. It has been a long time, and I haven't reread it. And I haven't really gone out of my way to try to collect the other books in the series. The next 3 books are part of the Stormlord trilogy, starting with the Stormlord. I had to go at this book 4 or 5 years ago and didn't get on with it. It's about a prince who was mutilated in order to sort of prevent his accession to the throne. However, as the years and decades go by, I think he makes a comeback, and there's an adventure involved as well. I don't remember much, and I've never read the sequels. Anakire, or the White Serpent. And I haven't gotten around to her other trilogy, The Birthgrave, which um, starts with The Birthgrave. So this is one of the reissued editions of her work from Dahl. Most of these I have I picked up from Golden Book Exchange, the book used bookstore in Waco, Texas. So this is Vascor Son of Vascor, the second book in the series, and the third book, um, Quest for the White Witch. I also have a Unicorn series, Black Unicorn, Gold Unicorn, and a Red Unicorn. This is the Secret Books of Paradise, which is a omnibus edition of the Paradise Cycle that includes um, the Book of the Damned, um, the Book of the Beast, the Book of the Dead, which seems to be, and the Book of the Mad. But I've never gotten around to these yet. I mean, I've had these for a while. This was, I think, one of the first books I bought from the Waco McLennan County Friends at the Library book sale. Well over 10 years ago. Actually, probably closer to 16 years ago now that I think about it. Next is Tales from the Flat Earth, The Lords of Darkness, with an annoying sticker on the cover of one of our Lords of Darkness. Where did I get this? It doesn't say. So this is a series set on a world that is flat. And the Lords of Darkness are some of the most powerful beings in the setting. The series comprises of, or the book is Night's Master, which I've read, Death's Master, which I've read, and Delusion's Master, which I haven't. So Night's Master is more short stories. It's like a bound up short story collection than it is a novel. And I didn't like it. Death's Master, I think, is a bit better, but I don't remember liking it either. So I moved away from Tanith Lee onto Yoon Ha Lee. I have 4 books by him. The first 3 are part of the Machineries of Empire or Hexarchate series, starting with Nine Fox Gambit, which I remember liking. I mean, all of these novels are really good. The science is a bit weird, but I mean, it's not that complicated. The second book is Raven Stratagem. And the third book is Revenant Gun. I also have Phoenix Extravagant, which is a set as a more of a steampunk or about mechanical dragons in a place inspired by Korea that's being colonized by a place inspired by Japan. And at the end of the book, if I remember, place inspired by the United States. It's about to conquer and colonize the place that's inspired by Japan. I did not like this book, and I've wanted to have another go at it for some reason. I don't know why. When I think that one go at it was good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my bookmark and put it there. So that was part 7. Tomorrow I will do part 8, and then next week, the final part. My brother's bookcase is where I'll move, and I will figure out what I'm going to do with some of those, because these 2 shelves I will probably be able to do standing up here. But the other 2, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could just stay in the chair. But anyway, BookTube, I will figure that out over the weekend. But tomorrow will be part 8 of Science Fiction and Fantasy. So until then, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.